Shalom, shalom. This is Restoring the Connection, where we learn the commandments of the Most High. We learn to apply them so we can grow closer to Him, restoring the connection. So the next commandment we're going to look at is in Exodus chapter 20, and it's in verse 13. Exodus chapter 20, verse 13. And it reads, "You shall not murder. You shall not murder. You shall not murder." So let me give a disclaimer. We're not talking about self-defense. We're not talking about when the Most High ordains for our nation to go to war. We're talking about lying and waiting for malicious and vicious attacks, right? We're talking about plotting and strategically maneuvering your a situation for evil gain. We're talking about wickedness. We're talking about hatred. We're talking about evil, right? It says, "You shall not murder." So this is definitely a big topic amongst our people because our people have a murderous spirit on them, especially our younger people, right? And it didn't just start with them. We've been had a murderous spirit on us, amongst us, all right? But now it has gotten to the point where we're literally killing each other and laughing about it. We're killing each other, murdering each other, and making songs about it. Our young women are setting up other young men and murdering them. You got men murdering young women nowadays. This spirit that then came upon these principalities in high places, from the music to all the drugs, the weed smoke, the liquor, the video games, the movies, the social media, it's become a murderous culture that the nations outside of us capitalize off of us, murdering one another. Now, every community murders each other. Just get that fact straight. But it should not be us being the chosen people of Yah, or anybody that says they follow the Most High through Yahusha and keep his Torah. That should not be our mindset. All right. You shall not murder. And we're going to look at Leviticus chapter 24, verse 17. All right. In the Torah, Leviticus chapter 24, verse 17, so we can get a little more clarity. All right. Leviticus 24, 17, and it reads, "Whoever kills any man shall surely be put to death." This was the law. Whoever kills any man shall surely be put to death. So when people get to bragging about grace and grace, this is grace, right? Because the law stated, whoever kills any man shall surely be put to death. And depending on what state you in, and depending on the level or the tenacity or the viciousness of the crime, especially a murder, that state will put you to death. Right. But there's a principle behind this, because if you kill somebody, there's a chance in that act that you could be murdered yourself. If you kill somebody, that person has family, and it ain't no telling how they may respond. You could yourself wind up murdered. So that's a principle. But the law was, whoever kills a man shall surely be put to death. All right. Now we also have to look at this murder, because that would tie into abortion. Right. There are, I can't even get a number. I don't even know if they have an exact number, if that's even possible, of how many of our babies, sons and daughters, are murdered every year because of abortions. Right. And that's a culture within itself. Right. These abortion clinics have been strategically placed in certain areas, and the promiscuous culture that uplifts sexual promiscuity, sexual immorality, sex outside of marriage with no consequence is pushed. Meanwhile, when a person has a child, but you've been taught or all around you that you should be living your best life, you should be living your dream. So then you look at this child and they convince you that it's not a child. But you ask any woman, she'll tell you in her heart of hearts, that's a child. There's life inside of her, that your life is more important than that. That's murder. So that's something we should think about when we engage with one another, or people. We shouldn't be engaging with each other sexually without being married. All right. So this is just learning on our way to learning. We'll get on that when we get on more on the thou shalt not commit adultery commandment. So let's go to Matthew chapter 5. And we're going to watch the Messiah take this even further, because he always got to the heart of the matter. He always gave the deeper definition of the commandment, or the full definition of the commandments. So we're going to go to Matthew chapter 5, and we're going to go to verse 21. And it reads, "You have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be in danger of the judgment." What was that judgment? You would get killed. "But I say to you that whoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment." Whoever is angry with his brother without a cause, whoever got that hate in their heart for their brother, their sister, that's just that he's counting that on the same level as murder. Because where does the murder start? Start in your heart. You know, you got guys right now that they calling each other ops or the opposition, which is crazy, because if you find out where they live at, a lot of times they have problems with each other in close proximity, yet your parents grew up with each other. Y'all went to the same elementary school. Right now, the government is against both of y'all. You will need his help faster than you won't need his help. You'll need her help faster than you won't need her help. You'll need his help faster than you won't need his help. This stuff is we've been tricked, psychologically beaten, psychologically damaged, psychologically ran through the mud, right? So we need to get back to the Torah, back to the ways of the Most High, so we can restore this connection and break these demonic cycles. Matthew chapter 5, verse 21. "You have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be in danger of the judgment." Right? And I want to get to, before I really open up a little more, to Revelation 21, verse 8. Let's get that. Revelation 21, verse 8. Because there's serious consequences that come with this. Serious consequences that a lot of times they don't talk about when these guys are laid in these caskets. Because everybody, especially these young guys laid in this casket, is somebody's baby. Oh, my baby. Oh, my baby. Well, your baby might have sent somebody else to the funeral home. Even when it comes to a daughter. You got a lot of females out here setting guys up, setting women up. And you got some of these older cats out here. Oh, yeah, they run around still stabbing, packing pistols. And same thing with the women, right? Lying and waiting and plotting and scheming and crafty. They move like the wicked one. And the abortions, secret murder. Secret murder. But nothing's hidden from Yah. Revelation 21, verse 8. Revelation 21, verse 8. "But the cowardly, unbelieving, abominable, murderers, sexually immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death." We're in a murderous culture, but nobody wants to talk about dying. There's a murderous spirit on each of these cities, especially on our people. Nobody wants to think about a consequence of their actions once you leave or fall asleep, as it says, once you transition, right? Nobody wants to really think on it, to think there's a consequence that came from what I did. You know, you got brothers in prison right now, brothers and sisters in prison that committed a murder, and it didn't dawn on them for about 20 years. It dawned on them what they did, and it dawned on them they never coming home. See, this is the craftiness of this beast system, right? There's some right now. There's a spirit of murder that is connected to adrenaline. There's people, especially some young guys, that get pumped and they're getting high off adrenaline, and not knowing how to put that in its proper context. Boom, they can't wait to get in beef, right? It's lit, it's up, let's get it, right? And the music is murder music. That's it. And you don't realize you're being inhabited by demons from the time you wake up and you light up, and then you turn up, and then you ride out. Think about that. You wake up, you light up, you turn up, and then you ride out. That's the formula for death. That's the formula for murder. Yeah. Let's look at this. John chapter 8, verse 44. So we already read the consequence, right? The lake. Eternal damnation. There ain't a consequence or a punishment on the planet right now, on the earth, that one can even imagine or think about eternal punishment. Can't even really conceive. We can't even really grasp the concept of eternity because we've been born and groomed in time. Let's go to John chapter 8, verse 44. John 8, 44. And it says, you are of your father, the devil, and the desires of your father you want to do. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there's no truth in him. What is he? He was a murderer. And he says, you're of your father, the devil. Oh, yeah, the devil got children out here, spiritual children. Yeah. And you can tell them by the fruit that they produce. Are you out here catching bodies, you murdering, or you done had 9 abortions and you don't feel no conviction, you don't feel no remorse? You setting people up? Or you just walking around, you ain't murdered nobody physically, right? But you got all this hate. You hate Eric. You hate your brothers. You show no patience, no long suffering, no forgiveness. You can't wait to backbite them, can't wait to backstab them, can't wait to harm them or hurt them. You a female. You can't wait to tear that young lady down or tear that man down. Yeah, you got hate in your heart. You's a murderer. And you of your father, the devil. So we have to get these things out, right? If you feeling that hate, one of the tools you can do to help, if the spirit is convicting you, is start praying for that person in private. Start praying for their salvation. Start praying that the Most High change them and help them. And in turn, it'll start helping you. It'll alleviate that hate and that burden, right? And if you got that murderous spirit where you want to go pick up a pistol and go harm somebody or whatever the case may be, or somebody may have done something to one of your peoples and it's eating you alive, go talk to somebody, man. Talk to somebody with some sense. Everybody knows somebody they can talk to. And then start developing a prayer life. And then look at how perfect and how loving and how wonderful the Most High is. And how wretched we are in comparison. Yet he still loves and forgives us. And this is the process. I ain't saying it's an overnight process. But this is the process of how one starts to come out of hate. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.